Appreciate it. So as you said, I'm Lydia Nelson, and I do represent FITM, which is part of the workshop you're going to be learning today from the Fashion Institute. We're going to cover lots of careers in apparel and fashion industry, kind of help you to see what kind of opportunities you have. Not everything that's a hobby can't be a business, right? There's that design for business and business of design. So if you want to have your own company, hopefully today you'll feel inspired when we're done. I do also have my interior design business. Obviously, that's not our focus today. We're going to be highlighting that maybe at another workshop later. But I do want you guys to be open-minded, have fun, see if there's something you could explore further for a career, kind of start getting your brain thinking past here at Slick. And tomorrow we'll have a table over in the Student Center, and if you guys want more info on FITM, I'm not going to talk too much about our majors today because I want to dive in, but I will be there if you have questions. So before we get started, I want to loosen everybody up. I want you to high-five your neighbor. Tell everyone you're excited to be here. So get your high fives going. High fives. Okay, fist bumps. Get the vibes going. Okay. So like I said, we're going to talk about behind the design, different careers in the apparel industry. Something fun that's always exciting to talk about first is trends, right? What's coming up? What's popular? What are you guys seeing? What trends are you noticing around campus? 90s? Okay, my era. I'm 34 almost, so that kind of tells you what's popular. It's really weird to see high school kids rocking chokers and sync shirts and things like that. It's a little awkward for me. I'm like, you guys make me feel really old right now. So that's always fun. Something else you're seeing is the 70s. So my parents' era, it is back. Lots of florals, inspired prints from museums, getting your clothing line kind of in that fall mode already, right? Things like that. Also, you're going to start seeing bold neon colors, more modern combinations, kind of old and new, so that's always fun. Then you have a really extreme side of it where it's going to be more of your metallics, more of a clean, simple, sophisticated look. So runway kind of has everything from big belts to little tiny handbags to wearing your Nikes, right, out in public. So lots of things to look forward to. These are just some fun ones to kind of show you how trends work. So we got our 70s, again, popular with a little twist. Okay, 1980s, hot pants, hair bands, right? Poison, they were awesome back in the day. Okay, 1990s, talking Spice Girls, Goo Goo Dolls, Eve 6, bands like that, and then 2000s. So what's really cool is now we're in 2020, and I don't know about you, but what I've started to see is that trends are really not so identifiable, right? They're very mixed of a combination of eras and trends. I feel like it's a lot harder. Like you can't just say, what's 2019 trend? Oh, it's hodgepodge, right? Or it's eclecticism, or it's rock and roll or goth, right? There's not like a distinct trend anymore. Everybody's just kind of a melting pot of trends, which is really interesting. And also, if you'll notice, there's a lot of different companies helping to promote sustainable design, right? What are some brands you can think of that are really being forward with their trending? What are you guys seeing? What do you guys think in the front?
What is that?
What kind of brands can you think of that are popular right now that are really helping to change the way we buy fashion or be more eco-friendly? Can you think of any?
No, but my favorite store is Banana Republic.
Banana Republic?
I love the style industry.
Yeah, Banana Republic's really good. They are good about their sustainability, commitment, work ethic practices. What about Patagonia? Right? Patagonia's local here in Utah. They recycle a lot of plastic. They have eco-friendly down and fill feather for all of their bags and all of their clothing. Also, there's Koyuchi for the home line, if you've ever heard of them. They actually have a linen recycle program where you can recycle your bed linens. You can use them, send them back. They'll give you a new set to use. It's on a subscription plan. So all sorts of really interesting things with sustainability happening. Also, fashion is a $350 billion. It's inching its way to $400 billion by the end of this year, which is just insane to think about how much money the fashion industry generates. And what's interesting too with fashion is a lot of times what trends you see in home are reflected in fashion. So you'll see the same color palettes, you'll see the same materials, you'll have the same vibe or feeling to the style. And so a lot of brands interchange. For example, phone apps, right? how many of you have had on your Instagram pop up little phone apps for you to download, right, that are from different industries? Or you might start seeing things like, I'm trying to think of the best example to tell you. You'll start to see textiles. That would probably be the most iconic one, is patterns on backpacks or on shoes or things like that. Sometimes you'll see the same pattern on a dress. In fact, at FITM, just real quick, I want to share that, is we have a program called Sharing Styles. It's a really cool opportunity for students. And you'll actually take a textile designer, a fashion designer, and an interior designer. They'll come up with a pattern, a dress or a garment, and an actual chair, and have that same pattern reflected on each component. And then it's presented on our fashion show. So that's just a good example to show how you can mesh industries with each other. So something to think about. So I want to talk about California. Why do you think California is the hot spot for fashion? Why California, not New York, somewhere else? Texas is growing. What do you gentlemen think? Hollywood, okay, obviously. Have the connections, the careers, the celebrities, the vibes. Why else? Port, what did you say, sorry? The ports, yeah, easy for transport, import, exports, right, of goods and services. Okay, what else? Any golfers? No golfers? So 90% of golf wear comes from San Diego. In Orange County, there's over 200 clothing and apparel manufacturers alone. So brands like Hurley, Quicksilver, Roxy, Billabong. Okay, so we're all in that compass there. In LA, just around the FITM campus, there's actually 52 city blocks worth of companies that are involved in some way of the industry, whether that's through entertainment or photography or graphic design or fashion. So that's just insane to think about, 52 city blocks. If you've ever been to LA, they're pretty big blocks, right? Okay, also in San Francisco, that's where our 4th campus is, and San Francisco is the 3rd largest retailer in the world. So that's why you're starting to see a lot of designers, even like Tom Ford, they're starting to take their fashion to other places like California. Texas is getting hotter with the fashion industry. And then, of course, New York. It's really interesting if you look at a fashion map, I'll show you at the end, but a lot of the coastal cities is where all the fashion people are living and working. And then Midwest is just kind of still trying to figure out what it's doing. Okay? So any questions so far about trends? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to keep talking then. Keep moving. I do have some freebies, a few pens for people that shout out questions and answers for me. So let's talk about comfort revolution. How weird is it now to wear yoga pants to the grocery store or to a meeting or to pick up your kids, right? It's just the norm. In fact, these are technically leggings, right? So it's really popular now to wear your athleisure line. In fact, that's kind of started in LA, which is really interesting. And my grandmother, she was telling me how weird it is because when she was a child, she only could wear a dress. Jeans were forbidden. And so I'm just like, that's so weird. And even when I'm in the high schools talking to students, what's really interesting is that they're so lax on dress code now. Like when I was in high school, I would be like, detention, right? If I was showing off too much crazy fashion or trends. But now it's really open and diverse, which I think is really nice because you can share your personality. You kind of learn a lot about a person based on what they're wearing. I think you kind of can tell how much they make, what their job is, right? Just depending what they're wearing. So I do a lot of people watching, that's for sure. And fashion really branches into a lot of categories such as trends, design, manufacturing, planning, marketing, and retail. So it's a lot of opportunities. You're not just a fashion designer, right? That stigma is not for everybody. Okay, so I want to talk about first trend forecasting. This is a great career. How many of you love to travel? Okay, have you been out of the country? Like to see architecture, what's popular, what's trending? So a trend forecaster is a great opportunity if you really like to travel, you like to people watch, you're very hipster, so to say, on what's popular, you have a good eye for detail, those kinds of things, because the trend forecaster, what they're going to be doing is out there seeing what's popular, seeing what's the next big thing. They're the ones that are creating the lookbooks for brands, and then they're taking that design to these companies and pitching it for them to see if that's what they're interested in promoting next. So do you guys know how many years in advance trends are predicted? Any guesses? Couple years? Yeah, 2 years on average, 2 to 3 years in advance. So it's really interesting because you're wearing something that was kind of dated already, right, when you think about it. And trends go through a really big life cycle. Okay, so someone starts with the creation. Then you have people who, you know it when you see them, they're really trendy. They've got the latest, coolest thing that they're wearing. Then everyone thinks it's nice and they start adapting to it until it's not cool anymore, which usually we joke, if our parents or grandparents are wearing what we want to wear, it's time to switch it up. Also, what other kind of life cycles do you see with fashion? What are some examples? What do you think?
I guess just repeating what was previously done in like decades before.
Yeah, repeating, refreshing old decades. Okay, good. What else? How about when you go shopping at the stores? Don't you see different changes with the season, right? New merchandise in front, old merchandise in back. They try to be on clearance, get rid of it so that they can sell all the new stuff, right? Me, I'm the polar opposite. I go to the back and I work my way to the front. I pick one expensive item and then I budget the rest out. That's just my style, but it's interesting how we shop. Fashion's also a big part of the movie and TV film industry. So what are some department stores you could think of that would work good in This Is Us, if you've seen that TV show? Where could I shop if I'm a costume designer or a fashion buyer? What could I pick? Yes?
Like Nordstrom or Dillard's?
Yeah, Nordstrom, Dillard's, right? It's very casual, kind of that scene. I don't want to hurt nobody. Okay, what about Guardians of the Galaxy? What do you think, sir, in the back? Yeah. I know, I'm volunteered. Where could I shop for things, or what kind of materials are we going to be picking out? Raw leather, okay, edgy, raw, right? Metallics, leather, those kinds of things. Hot Topic, possibly, okay? Kind of that edgy look. What about Fast and the Furious? Right, that athleisure, okay? So sporty, edgy, sometimes some motorcycle gear kind of thrown in there, but more of your race car vibe, okay? And then what about Riverdale? Which one? Forever 21?
Oh, yeah,
21, okay. Where else? How about like Hollister, maybe Polo, Ralph Lauren, right? It has kind of that preppy vibe to it. Awesome. Okay, so costume design is another part of fashion, and it's pretty cool to see your creations or designs on people in mass followings. Okay, so then we're going to talk about fashion design versus product development. Okay, and we're going to talk about how designers get their inspiration. Where do you guys think they get most of their inspiration from? What do you think?
Dreams?
From dreams, okay? So maybe they've got this vision in their head that comes to them and they're like, this would be an awesome product, okay? Awesome. What else? People watching, yes. I don't want to hit nobody. That would be really sad. Then I'll have a lawsuit, right, for whacking somebody in the head. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is actually a clip of where Michael Kors gets his design inspiration. And he actually just bought for $2 billion Versace, and it's going through a huge rebranding. So it'll be interesting to see how that's different, because Versace's kind of like Prada, right? It's had more of a high-end influence. Brought Versace, $2 billion.
I have to look for inspiration every day. So for me, I love pop culture. I love going to the movies. I love the theater, music. I love the tabloids. I love to see what celebrities are not only on the red carpet, but what are they wearing when they go to the grocery store. I love to travel for work and for pleasure. It can be the visual of a place. It could be people watching on the street. And you know, as I said before, to me it's most important that the inspiration, the influence comes from a living thing. For me, it's not from a museum. It's not from, you know, Renaissance art. It's from how people live today.
So you guys nailed it. I love it. Okay, another career pathway you can go to is textile design. Where are my artistes people, my artists? Nice. Okay, so you might really like textile design if you like to draw, you like pattern, textures, and different patterns that interlap with each other. Textile design is its own career industry, so maybe you're designing wallpaper, or maybe you're designing clothing, or maybe you're designing a graphic that's the background in like the Call of Duty games, right? Some camo design. You can use textile design in a lot of industries, so it's very flexible within that kind of realm of skill sets. Then we have a fashion designer, of course. So what do we need to be good at if we're a fashion designer? What do you think?
Knowing the trends, clothing.
Right, you gotta be savvy. You gotta know what you're talking about. Trends, design. What else? Sewing, right? I'm running low, or I'll give you 2. Sewing, right? You need to be able to sew your clothes or at least outsource it, okay? We gotta know how to make a pattern. Probably need to know the history of fashion, both in film and TV, everyday wear, okay? We need to have a good eye for color and details, hand skills, manual skills. What about business? Oh, so yes. Combinations, what works well with each other, okay? Right? It takes a very special person to know how to layer patterns with flowers and stripes or polka dots, right? If you see those at the same time, it has to mesh well. Okay, so fashion design, super fun. Okay, then we have product developers. So what do you think a product developer does differently than a fashion designer? How about the gentleman in the middle? If you're a product developer and you're basing it off of fashion design, what's your interpretation of what they do? Okay, more efficient. Like it. Okay. Any other guesses?
Maybe more of the marketing.
More the marketing side. Okay. Ooh, I only have one left, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. So the biggest difference with the product developer is about the branding of the company they're doing the product for. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be interpreting the fashion design piece. That's probably very expensive, over the top. You're not going to wear this to the grocery store. You're not going to even wear this to prom. I tell the high school kids I would not wear that to prom. It's just too crazy. Okay? So when you're the product developer, you have to have the eye to see what your vision is going to look like, but then you have to reinvent it so it's more practical. You have to sell it to a company that's like H&M, right? That might sell like this skirt here, or Nordstrom, like you had mentioned, that might have some of your formal wear. So it just has to be a more practical application, okay? So somewhere on your paper, if you would like, I'm just gonna show you a fashion little show sneak peek of Alexander McQueen. Have you heard of him before?
Yes.
Okay, so Alexander McQueen, how would you describe his style?
He's a very, very bougie man.
Yeah, he's very over the top. Sadly, he passed away, but his designs are very unique. So just imagine if you're a product developer, how could you interpret this and create something for an everyday consumer? It's very unique, right? Got some silk, some screen printing, almost a kimono style color blocking, some gladiator style shoes. Very distinct color palette, mostly black, white, and red. Okay, so what ideas would you come up with? If you're a product designer for the Alexander McQueen inspiration, what are some ideas you would have that you could create from that? Kimono shirts. I like it. Okay, so it looks like a kimono, but it's maybe shorter and it's better for your waistline. It's not a full outfit. Good. What else? What do you think?
It looked like he used a lot of like old-time clothing, like Spartan, and like what you said, gladiator.
Gladiator shoes. Uh-huh.
Probably like that.
Yeah, so the sandals, I've actually seen a lot of those similarities in like Forever 21. I remember back in the day they had those gladiator sandals, right? What about Assassin's Creed? It's really popular, right? I had a student decide to design a cloak. So it was a leather cloak, like Assassin's Creed style, but then it had the kimono pink pattern print inside. So I was like, oh, that's pretty crafty and creative, right? So that's the really fun job with being a product developer is it's your interpretation, it's your invention, there's no right or wrong. And if you design something unique, then you have more demand for it because some brands aren't going to be able to buy it everywhere. It's going to have more variety. So any questions so far? Awesome. Okay, well, let's talk about denim. Gotta love jeans, right? Cozy. Okay, so how many of you have at least 2 pair of jeans in your wardrobe? At least 2. Okay, what about 5? What? 5 pair of jeans? 10? Does anybody have 10? Seriously? Oh my gosh, so you could really wear one every day of the week and rotate them. That's insane. Awesome. I have two, but denim is its own popular brand. In fact, we have a bachelor's degree just on the business of denim. And denim is really interesting because it's a really hot market. It's a staple in our wardrobe. We always are going to be wearing denim and jeans. Even with the 90s now, if you guys remember back in the day with Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake with the full denim outfits, right? Denim's coming back, which is interesting. And we spend a lot of money on jeans for a lot of different reasons, right? So why do you think you pay what you do? What are some factors of what you pay for a pair of jeans? What do you think? I haven't talked to you yet. Yeah, like what kind of things would make us pay more money than other brands?
I think popularity, because jeans are very common and a lot of people have them in their wardrobe.
Right, popularity, okay, so maybe it has a signature wash or a certain fit. Ripped jeans are really popular right now, so maybe that's something that's inspiring it. Okay, what else? The fit, yes, right, the waist, oh, you're over there, sorry. The fit, right, we have different waist heights, different leg styles, skinny, boyfriend, bootleg, boot cut, what else? Flare, right? 70s flare jeans coming back a little bit. Baggy, okay, so fit, what else? What about you, sir, far corner? Why we pay what we do for jeans?
I don't know. Material,
Material, right?
size.
Yeah, a lot of factors, right? So we have a lot of different things that go into a pair of jeans. What kind of components make up a pair of jeans? What do you notice? Yes? The stitching, okay. What other details we have to include? Pattern, yes. Tags, branding, washes, all of those things. So that is why you pay what you do, okay? And it goes through a huge planning process. Starts with the planning and sampling and sourcing. It goes to the fabric house to get cut. There's meetings about it. Then it has inspections. It gets cut. It gets printed and sewn. It gets reviewed again for any repairs. Then it goes through the washing and finishing. So you buckle lovers, it goes with those bedazzled on your butt cheek, right? Right there on your back pocket. And it gets shipped to the store. So it's pretty lengthy. And it takes 2 gallons of water to make one pair of jeans. So think about how much water consumption it takes to make jeans. And the material, right, the cotton has to go through a process. You're going to pay more for organic or selvage jeans than you are going to for a lesser quality cotton. Okay, a lot of companies are moving to the U.S. Why do you think that is? Why might they come to the U.S. instead of overseas? Yes?
The market.
The market, okay. U.S. is good for popularity, rotating those trends out. What else?
A lot of people are trying to just buy from U.S.
Yeah, don't you see brands when they like made in USA or local, right? So that's really trendy. Okay, what else?
Noticing shipments sent to the U.S. more often than to another country.
Right, the expenses of shipping it overseas, it has to go through a shipping container. It's a longer process. There's more labor to pay for, right? So all of those things help if we can do it in-house or local to our community. It's going to save money. Also, companies are finding, again, how to be more sustainable. There's a cool company called A4NU, and they figured out how to use science to dye the fabric. So there's no chemicals, no water, and it infuses into the dye. And I wish I had a video to show you, because when they explained it to me, I was just mind blown. I was like, what? Like, no water? What do they do, pack it on the denim? Like, how does that work? But science, right? So if you're very science tech savvy, you can come up with all sorts of cool ways to use denim, okay? Another option for you for career pathway is being a visual merchandiser. So if you've ever been to a store, this is their job, is to make it look pretty, to make it look inviting, versus shopping somewhere like this lovely store. Okay, so which one would you rather shop at? I'd rather shop at Urban Outfitters, right? Get to where I need to go. Everything's organized. I can find my size. Versus TJ Maxx, I might have to spend about 3 hours in there, try stuff on, hate it, put it back in the cart, start over. Okay. So visual merchandising is a really cool industry to be part of. It's part of the degree program. It's called Visual Communications, and visual merchandiser is the actual job title. So what are some things you like about this store design? What's working for it?
It's well organized.
It's well organized, okay. Do you notice that everything is very specific to where it's located, right? You even see accessories placed in certain color palettes in the store or different functions of different pieces of fashion you're buying. So shoes, belts, accessories, jewelry, all kind of in their area. Then you have your new pieces. Like I said, everything has a purpose, okay? So these are your key people that are part of that visual communications area. You have your merchandisers, but you also have buyers. So this is another fun job for you if you love to travel, because you basically are getting paid to shop. So if you love shopping or you're a shopaholic, that's a good job for you. You're going out and you're buying the next pieces for whatever company you're branded for. So if I worked for Nike per se, I would be outsourcing what I could purchase and offer our customers. So another fun job. Allocators, they work with the buyers and the merchandisers. They're your numbers people. They're the ones helping with inventory, operations behind the scenes. They're helping strategize for sales, analyzing and researching how the store needs to flow, different products and things. So we're just going to look at this as a group for sake of time. But these are a whole collection, 11 styles. Okay, so if I'm Nordstrom, what ones do you think we should buy for our brand? What do you think would work well and why? I'm hiring you as a buyer for Nordstrom. What would you buy? What do you think? Yes, sir.
I would buy one.
Number 1? Number 5? So this is number 1. Number 2. That was number 11. They're supposed to be in order. Number 3. Okay, well, you get the hint. Okay, so the correct answer is any of them can fit for your branding. So what would I price these out if I picked these for Nordstrom? What does Nordstrom usually cost around? 200 for an outfit? You feel like that's pretty good? Yeah. Okay, what about for Target? Same product, different store. 25 to 30?
For
$5.50? Yeah, right? And if you include the shoes and the hat and the earrings, you might be in that 70 to 90 for the whole thing, yeah. Right? For Nordstrom, $200. Why do you think Nordstrom's more expensive than Target would be? Quality, okay. Name brands, right? Exactly. If you're a popular brand, you can charge more, right? You have that following. No one's going to judge you differently. So it works good. Okay, I'm going to scan. These are on a slideshow, so we're just going to skip through them all. Okay. I'm so used to my touch screen. There it goes. Awesome. Okay. So before I jump to graphic design, I want to see if you guys know something about visual merchandising. Do you know how many seconds it takes for you to catch my attention in front of a store window? How many seconds you have to hope I go in? 30? 7? 5. 3 to 5 seconds. You hope your visuals are good, right? You hope that what you're displaying is going to pique that interest for the customer to come in and buy it. Unless you've been to that store or you know what they sell, you might not go in there. I do it all the time. I'm like, right? And then I go to the one that I want to shop in. That's just how consumers are. Same thing with visuals. We do things like graphic design and print ads. So how many jobs do you think this print ad would take to make it? How many people involved? What do you think? I haven't heard from you yet, sir.
5.
5? Okay, higher? 10? 50. 21. That's a big group of people, right? 21 jobs, but you would probably be close to 50, right? If you talk about the production of the sunglasses, these are some Ray-Bans, iconic brand for sunglasses. But 21 different people to make one print advertisement. Starts with all the pre-planning, all the conceptualizing, right? All those people involved in that process. On set, we have to have photographers, we have to have stylists, we have to have a model, right, to wear the sunglasses. We have editors, photographers, videographers, all of these people. Then after the shoot, it goes to our graphic designers and our art directors, our managers that are overseeing the display of the ad, where it's going to be located. Is it on a website? Is it in a magazine? Is it going to be on the bus rolling down the street, right? Where are we seeing this advertisement? Okay. Real quick, too, with graphic design, have you guys been past the Halle Theater? They're off at I-15. Have you noticed their poster designs that are on the building? Okay, so graphic design is really interesting. It used to be about magazines, right? I remember back in the day, I was like tenfold of magazine subscriptions. I couldn't wait till they come to my house. And now those are really going away. It's going more into video production and what we call motion posters. So you'll have your text be stagnant or non-mobile. You'll start seeing images being mobile. So it's kind of a combination of print and video, which is really interesting. So graphic design is a great industry. I'm going to show you a video marketing ad for Quicksilver. If you're familiar with Quicksilver, they are known for surf industry, right? Okay. Do you know that Roxy is the sister part of their company with their logo, right? If you turn the Quicksilver logo and this logo together, it forms the Roxy heart, which I find really interesting. Okay, so this is a video ad for Quicksilver. See if you notice the storyline and the product.
The 60s culture was all about not working and going surfing and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you know, it was the hippie era. I started making board shorts because I thought it was fun. Surfers always wanted to wear hipsters, but they didn't want to wear something up around your navel. And so that's why we came up with the yoke. It just made sense, and that came from that suit design. The scallop on it was an extension of the plunge of the yoke. We're just keen to make our product clean. If you turned it inside, it had to look good, look fine, look finished. But it was also a project, you know, we didn't have any grand plan on it.
Okay, so what did you notice about the video ad? What did it do well?
Told a story.
Told a story, right? That's really what video marketing is all about, is capturing that experience, putting that story into the consumer's mind, getting them pumped up to go buy this pair of board shorts, right? So it's all about the story. We don't have time for this one, but it's basically an ad for Chanel. You can look it up. It's for Chanel number 5. And what they did with it is they had this video campaign. They advertised it, made a huge VIP party for it. All those people came to the party. The next day, they posted 8 party pics, and guess how many followers Chanel gained? 1.8 million. That's insane, right? Here's 8 pictures of my party. Come follow me, right? It's just crazy. So now with social media, there's so many job opportunities within social media because brands know it's an easy way to get consumers. It's a lot easier to post a picture and reach 1 million people than it is to be door-to-door soliciting, right? When we're having brands on social media, there's a lot of platforms we can use: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. What else? What other platforms would work well for branding your business? How about Twitter, YouTube? Right? If you're a YouTube influencer, you probably want to have video content that's relevant to the products. Maybe you're doing tutorials, right? We're posting Twitter ads. We're reaching customers through advertising in our stores. Okay, so there's lots of ways you can promote sales, you can promote your brand. This brand, what is this one? Hollister. How did you know?
Just by the, I think, Southtown Mall.
Right. Yeah, it just has that iconic storefront. If you notice, there's not a single part of their name anywhere on their storefront design, right? Kind of become a classic. What about this one?
Pink.
It's so funny. Everybody says both. Pink, pink. Why pink?
Here, the dog.
The dog, okay? And they always have this signature, really bright neon color palette on all of their clothing. Okay, so even though they're 2 different brands and their businesses are polar opposite of who their client is, their target market, all of that, they still are capturing the right demographic to their store. Okay, sometimes companies use scents to also engage with customers, so kind of be sneaky, right? If you're in the baby department, they might use baby powder smell. If you're in the swimwear, if you smell like sunblock or coconut, right, it makes you want like a pina colada and then go buy a swimsuit, right? So we use different scents, and then we also use music. This one is a little bit slow. Okay, so where maybe would you hear this kind of music? What kind of stores?
Macy's.
Macy's. What did you say, sorry? Nordstrom's? Yeah, right, your department stores, high-end boutique. So studies have found that if you play slower music, customers are more likely to spend longer time in their stores and still purchase something. So you can kind of take advantage of people's shopping habits, okay? There might be some music like this one. Okay, so upbeat. So where would I hear that one at? Forever 21, H&M, Zara, right? The goal of faster music is to get you going through the store faster. So their strategy is that you're looking everywhere. That's why it's always chaos in those stores, right? And then hopefully buying more than one product. So I can tell you from going to Fashion Place, most of those stores you mentioned, it's a madhouse in there. I go during the week when it's not as crazy. So retail is a good industry to work for. These are different categories of jobs, everything from the customer service person that's checking you out to the behind the scenes that are your allocators, your buyers, your CEOs, okay, your marketing people, your graphic design, your merchandisers, right, your planners. There's so many people who do retail. Okay, so this last film clip is just kind of an overview about fashion, different icons, leaders we have in the industry.
I think the great thing about fashion is that it's changing all the time, and the people in the industry are just kind of crazy enough to kind of go along with the ride because they love it so much.
The only way you're going to be successful is if you're not looking at the clock. You know, if you're still working and feeling like, oh, I don't want to stop, I want to finish this because I want this to be beautiful, I want this to be perfect. And those are those moments when if you're not doing it for yourself, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
You have a voice that can influence contemporary culture as much or more than anything else. If you love what you do, then there's nothing like the rush of having a great idea and seeing it created, and then seeing the happiness that you can ultimately bring a consumer who buys, wears, and loves what you design.
I love that quote so much. It's so true because it feels so nice when you create something and it impacts someone's life in a positive way. That's why I love interior design, and I've stuck with that, just because it's such a reward to be like, here's my problem, what can you do to help me design it better, make my life improved? And then you do that, and they're just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, it's so much better, it's refreshing, right? So fashion's the same way. And these are, oh, my thing's kind of funky. So these are some statistics from Utah from last year, just kind of showing you the price range and demographic of jobs. And I apologize that it condensed it so small. On mine it was bigger. But this is the average income per hour of what people in the industry were making in Utah. So it really starts about $17 an hour and goes up to about $23, $24 an hour within the fashion industry. Everything from fashion designers to apparel manufacturing to sales. Obviously retail, if you're in the lower tier of the jobs, you're gonna make less. If you're up in management, you can make more. But the biggest takeaway is this right here. So what do you guys notice about these rates per hour versus the actual industry jobs?
Triple.
Yeah, right? Triple. So why can't we, as people in those industries, start a company, make more, still do what we love, still reach the people we want to reach, right? So that's why it's important to view hobbies or interests in different creative fields, not so narrow tunnel vision. Try to have a bigger, broad view of it, because you could be making $165,000, sounds a heck of a lot nicer than $30,000, right? So it just kind of shows you, these are actual figures of Utah people in the industry. So the CEOs of Utah, there's almost 5,000 of them, and they made almost $165,000 last year. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, I don't make anywhere near that, but it'd be nice, right? Wishful thinking. Okay, and these are some of, wants to switch. These are just a statistic for fashion designers. So like we talked in the beginning, they're in California, they're in Oregon, they're in Washington, they're in Texas, right? The East Coast. And then a lot of the designers are in the middle, again, because that's where the jobs are. That's where the industry is. That's where all the technology is, all the influencers, celebrities, manufacturers. So it's really interesting. Utah's doing really good. Okay, 60 to 100 of designers are in that kind of tier. So it's really interesting, kind of see how figures are. Okay, so any questions about fashion, industry, FITM, me, whatever you want to ask me? You have like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes. Pick my brain. What do you want to know about? Yes?
Do you have some advice about fashion consulting?
Being a fashion consultant. So what's your goal with it? Are you wanting to be like a stylist and dress people? Are you wanting to have your own brand? Kind of what's your goals?
Yeah, just something on the side because I just friends, they start to ask me a lot for how go shopping with them. So and then one of my friends said, well, you can do this in your size, so just fashion consulting.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think fashion consulting is a great industry. I don't know if you've seen the trends, but there's a lot of coaching and consulting businesses popping up. Even my friend, he was in hospitality for years, and he just decided to become a life coach. And he's a huge outdoorsman, so he meshed the two together. So he goes on hikes, and while they're talking, they give him life lessons. It's really interesting. So fashion consulting, I mean, you could totally do that the same way. Come up with a business plan. Who's your customer? How much are you going to charge per hour? And just offer it as a service in that way. Yeah, fashion consulting would be fun. I could see a market for it. Also, you could look into app development. Have you heard of Stitch Fix? So Stitch Fix is a website and an app that you can use. You can actually pay for a package monthly. They mail it to you. They'll put a whole outfit together for you. You pick what you want, you buy what you decide to keep, and you return the rest. And it's like on a monthly subscription, so something kind of fun. What else? Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
Do you know how jewelry designers get to be there? Do they do a lot of schooling or just start at the bottom?
Yeah, so at FITM, we actually have a whole degree for jewelry design. And it's a really interesting process because jewelry design is kind of like the consultant, right? You're a very specific niche market. You're advertising to a very specific kind of customer. You have to decide, do you want to do like wedding jewelry? Do you want to do costume jewelry? So with jewelry design, I would recommend the jewelry design program and learn how to do the business of it and the hand skills. And then you would have to decide who would you pitch your products and designs to. There is a really cool jewelry, I haven't been to it yet, but American Fork, right by Walmart, like kind of across the street from Del Taco area. There's a new jewelry designer out there that you might look into. Maybe talk to jewelers, see if you can do like an internship. That would be really neat. Because I did internships when I was doing my design programs. I was an assistant interior designer while in interior design program. And then my business management degree, I was an intern at Warner Brothers for their marketing department. So lots of cool opportunities with businesses if you do it that way. But I think it's a strong demographic. I always like to wear jewelry and things. Did that answer your question? Yeah, okay. Anything else? Oh, yes, ma'am.
As far as hospitality goes in design, is that more focused on like the interior aspect, or are there other career paths with that?
So that's a perfect question. I'm so glad I can emphasize on it. So when I was designing for Sundance, what I was in charge of was coming up with the designs and the options for their 100 lodging units. And then I also helped design all their bathrooms and restaurant spaces. And so you're very involved on the interiors. Exterior is more along the developers. Typically the architect will really dictate what that's going to look like. A lot of times too, companies that have architect firms, they usually have an in-house designer who's helping to put the packages together. Most hospitality is kind of a package deal. Like this is all the rooms are going to look like this. Sundance was neat because the homeowners own each individual unit. And so I got more freedom to design, more sparingly how I thought it should look. But yeah, hospitality is really fun. And there's good money in hospitality. They have a bigger budget to work with. They can pay you more. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your thoughts on the trends towards closing brick and mortar stores and moving more online?
More online. Yeah, so that's all part of what we call omni-channel retailing. What the goal is to have the experience for the customer the same in the store as it is online and on the app. So everything needs to be streamlined, your branding needs to be the same, your logos and things need to be consistent. The nice thing with the brick and mortar stores though is we're finding it's still important to have them because there's a lot of benefit to going in a store. You can try it on, you can return it easier, you're saving on packaging, you can identify the color, like is it chartreuse? I don't know, it might be lime green when I get it, right? So it's nice to still have that. Plus I feel like we're already so technology consumed. Like for me personally, I would rather go to a store and see it and try it on and engage with someone than to like just guess online and be like, well, hope it works. Like I bought a swimsuit last spring from O'Neill, and the whole time I was like, what if I don't like it? Right? Is it a pretty blue? Like, what if it looks crappy with my skin tone? So it's important, I feel like. Yeah, and then we're in the Gen Z now, right? All of us, we're probably in our 20s to 40s, I'm guessing, okay? So we're kind of in that millennial generation below that. The Gen Zers, they're more demanding, right? In the FEDM world, we could say IW, which means I want what I want when I want it. If you'll notice that with brands now, they're trying to compete. I need 10 options for clothes. I need 10 different brands to pick from. I need different colors. I need customization. Like, we're kind of high maintenance now, which is kind of sad. So I personally shop in store. My husband's polar opposite. Like, he's trying really hard to right now get his wardrobe together for fall, and he just wants to shop online. He doesn't want to deal with the store at all. So I guess it depends on your personality. So, yeah. Anything else? Awesome. Well, this is fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lydia.
Yeah, thank you.